Hi everyone, welcome to Shea Talk, a new talk show presenting our clubs and activities and interviewing students on the skills that they're going to get from being involved with our skills and our clubs and activities. This is going to examine how our students are involved in our school, the benefits it gives them, and just the enjoyment and what they love about the passion of the club they're involved in. Today we sit down with Evan and Colin and talk about our debate team, and we really get to learn how they have taken the conversations to a next level and really advance themselves. I hope you really enjoy the show, and we look forward to doing multiple of these throughout the year. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm here with Evan and Colin, and from our debate team, we're going to have a conversation about our debate team. So first, let's start off and tell me, what is debate team? And Evan, you can start.
Yeah, debate is a great club our school that's offered at our school. It's an outlet for students to talk about current events, and we're also able to compete in several competitions each year with other high schools.
Excellent. Colin, can you tell me about the structure of it, like how a debate works?
So debate as itself is like a series of events that are competitive, and there's like a huge variety. If you feel uncomfortable or don't get a grasp of the first event we put you in, you can always choose from another series of them, which are all structured completely different. Generally, we like to start off all of our members in an event called group discussion. Group discussion being really not competitive. It's a very casual conversation similar to one that we're having. About 5 or 6 people just sit down at a table and you guys try and come up with conclusions based on what you guys think is like a solution to a modern day, either international or domestic political issue. And sometimes you guys don't need to disagree, but it's important to have data and facts to back up your information.
So when you're competing, do you have an advance notice, or is it something off the cuff?
Generally, before we go into like a formal debate, we get like topics, 2 to 3 words that are going to be the general central theme of it, but it also depends on the event you're in. I do extemporaneous speech. So extemporaneous speech, the subjects are all chosen randomly. You get 3 of them and you pick the one of the 3 you want. And then the only one that's relevant to the main topic is in the final round.
Excellent, excellent. And I know you guys have had quite a few debates, but what got you interested and how long have you been involved in debate?
I've been involved since the end of my freshman year and the beginning of my sophomore year. I've always been very interested in politics and different, current events issues, so I think that really inspired me to get involved in debate.
Mm-hmm. And Colin?
Debate always seemed like a really fun outlet. It's like in our in-person events, we usually go out for like the entire day from 6 a.m. to like 8 p.m. We're up in Boston, we get food together. It's a really great group bonding experience. I started doing it with my brother. When I was a freshman, he was a senior and he ran debate club. So back then we used to meet after school, and it was just like a nice way to get out of the house for a little bit, meet with people and talk. It was really casual, really fun, not competitive, and everything that you say in debate club stays in debate club. There's no judgmental like thought processes or anything like that.
So in my perspective, and I could be wrong, is it sometimes true that you might have to take an opposite side of you believe, and that's why it's kind of what stays there because you're just practicing the skills?
Yeah, it's definitely like an extension of your ability to utilize information, right? So generally, debate does not work very well when it's an echo chamber of very similar ideas. There isn't true thought development and processing going on, and one of my favorite things that I learned from my brother is playing devil's advocate. We had a lot of discussions on like the American debt issue and the benefits and negatives of it. Obviously, conventionally, debt is seen as a negative thing, but there are arguments in terms of economics for debt, and that's just one of many examples.
So the nice thing is, and maybe I'm wrong, is this almost like it's cross-curricular, right? So you might be talking about a social studies topic, but then you're going to pull in like an English perspective, and you need the math understanding. Am I wrong on that, or?
Yeah. I'd say one of my favorite topics ever in extemporaneous speech, which is my favorite event, you generally just go on I believe 8-minute long speech to a judge. No other people in the room. It's very personal, very intimate. And I talked about the hunger issues and water crisis in southern Sudan because of the war. And that employs a lot of public health, global health knowledge, as well as statistics, social studies, and anthropology because of the culture of the nation and their new culture as a new nation.
Oh, that's excellent. And like you said, now you've dove deep into a topic and learned even more about it. Evan, what's your favorite topic version of debate?
I do group discussion, which, as Colin said, is very similar to like a boardroom meeting for a company, or like a Sunday talk show, you know, like the panels.
Yep.
And my favorite topic was one on reparations.
Okay.
That was last year, and I believe I actually won that round. And it was very interesting because there are so many different perspectives, and I enjoyed kind of taking ideas from both and arguing that, you know, there could be middle ground on a policy as contentious as that one.
Excellent. How has it changed with COVID? So both of you got to experience it because you talked about your freshman year in the pre-COVID world, and now in this world. How has it changed the debate?
That's a really good question. I know when we first started as freshmen, it was a whole day affair where we would take a bus at 6 in the morning, and as Colin said, we'd go to high schools in the Boston area, and it was very nice to compete against people in person. Since COVID, we have been competing virtually, which is a whole different experience. But it's interesting to have those two different mediums because it really requires you to, you know, utilize skills that you wouldn't be utilizing if you were in person.
It's definitely taken a lot of adaptation and a lot more technical skill than would have been required. But obviously, as like the leadership team grows and we get more officers and the club itself grows, we're helping students get along those difficulties. And hopefully with the return to normal, we can start to go back to some of our club traditions. One of our favorite club traditions was going to Shake Shack in Boston.
Oh,
So when we were in there, we would get out from the award ceremony maybe 6 or 7 p.m. before we head back to Dartmouth. Quick run at Shake Shack always brings the debate team lively and together.
There's never a bad time at Shake Shack, I'll tell you that right now, except the line sometimes. You guys talked about the skills of adapting, and what other skills are you going to take with you in life that you've gained from the debate team in the club?
Debate really requires you to look at other people's perspectives and perspectives that you might not necessarily hold yourself. It requires you to think extremely critically at a variety of issues from a variety of perspectives. And I think those two skills are the most important, not just in debate, but in life as well.
It definitely helps with your interpersonal relationships because when you think about like debate and like Evan said, the other perspectives, it breaks down your own sense of egocentrism and your beliefs. And it's often found in just society today. It's really unaccepted to change your mind on a topic and to update things with new information. Going to debate has really helped me change that hard, fixed mental set to the point where you can update your opinion on stances at any whim, and it's accepted by a group of your peers that won't judge you.
That's wonderful, because I think so many times now people are afraid to change their perspective and change their mind because they put their feet in the ground. So you're saying being that flexible and taking the information you receive and saying, oh, that makes a good point. Is that kind of where you're going at? Excellent. You also, Colin, you talked about an 8-minute speech. That must feel like forever.
So I'm also in DECA. So DECA, we run kind of role plays, which are similar in terms of like speeches, where it's like you sit down one-on-one with the judge. DECA generally runs to 10 minutes, and sometimes even over that, depending on how much time the judge is willing to allow you. So for me, 8 minutes does feel a little bit constraining at times. Because there's so many details and nuances to these subjects. You'll find that a lot of kids have a lot of passion for the subject that we get, and you really want to match that level of passion going into it to make like an impression on the judge.
Now, is that 8-minute speech off the cuff, or have you written it out a few times and kind of started to memorize it, or is it a mix of both?
Extemporaneous speech. So we get the randomized topic and we select from one of 3. So we know the topic 30 minutes, maybe 40. It really depends. So we have like this weight room section where you wait and do your prep. 30 minutes using the resources you brought in, including binders, printed notes, etc. And then you just need to kind of practice it all out. I generally don't like rehearse word for word, but just try and get big picture ideas into my head. And from there, it's a matter of developing your skills to have the cadence and flow and confidence to just go up and do it.
Excellent, excellent. As we're wrapping up, kind of just a little bit different topic, is that what was the toughest debate question you guys had?
I know from my first group discussion round ever when I was a sophomore, the overarching theme was Europe. And the specific topic that I had to deal with was immigration and politics in Germany. And I know that was a very challenging topic for a sophomore to handle, but it was very interesting because I did research that topic beforehand, and it was really cool to kind of apply what I've learned to a good discussion with 5 or 6 of my peers.
Excellent.
That's really hard for me. So I'm not well versed in international politics. I really like to center my ideas around domestic issues, so I think one of my most challenging questions ever was in the finals round. It was regarding if U.S.-China relations would get better with the incoming presidential election cycle. So at the time we had Trump, so it was a little bit difficult coming from Obama, and it's like Chinese-American politics is very, very dicey. It can often, the scores on that can often come down to the judge's own political alignment, and perspectives internationally are very difficult from a Western perspective as opposed to a Chinese perspective. So it's a little bit of a communication issue with that, and I found that really hard to cross that bridge.
That's fascinating that you say you even have internal conversation, internal debate from the judges as well. And that's fascinating. Okay, quickly on the spot, I'm going to put you one debate question on the spot. Is who inspires you and why?
I would say my parents inspire me. They've always been so supportive of everything I've done, and they really encourage me to join debate as well. So I think both in debate and in life, they're my role models.
Excellent.
For me, I would say it's definitely public health leaders at the moment. I'd say people like Anthony Fauci or Dr. Fauci, people who are generally supposed to be working in labs and working on scientific fields, but have to go out into the light of publicity and politics because of the current age that we live in. And he gets all sorts of threats and things like that, a lot of dilemmas he shouldn't be needing to deal with as a public health scientist. But he bears through it, and he's a representative of how we can better society.
Excellent. And you want to go into public health, correct?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate this. I think I encourage all students to get involved in debate. You see how there are so many life skills that you'll be using throughout your careers and future. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.
Wow, what two impressive students at DHS we have. Thank you to Evan and Colin. I really look forward to them hearing about how they do in their future competitions. I know they're going to represent Dartmouth really proud. Thank you everyone for joining in and listening in. We really appreciate the time you afforded us. I hope you explore options in all clubs or activities and at least look into the debate team and how you could be a benefit to the team. Thank you very much.